Welcome to our weekly program, BelAhdan, a show with an accent for those without one. We all now hear about Black Lives Matter. It's a huge movement now. It started a few accidents about police brutality in Ferguson and Staten Island, New York and Minnesota. The first precinct was the latest things. The demonstration at the Mall of America has more police than the whole north side of the city altogether. Police is protecting Mall of America and not protecting our own people there in North Minneapolis. We have a group of people here that took on themselves to go and make themselves heard in another mall that not a lot of people talk about in Southdale and the Galleria. We have here Denise Conan and Jason. I'm gonna torture your last name, Jason, but help me out.
Tenbrink.
Tenbrink, that's not bad. Tenbrink. So those are, they are really went. I think the first time welcome to BelAhdan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First time I've heard about your this white white silence cost lives, and you guys went to Galleria of all places. This Galleria, they don't like that kind of.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah. This is Edina folks don't want people like you messing up with their shopping experience and whatever they have there. So tell us what triggered all of this. Why do you see the need to go and disturb American consumerism in a fine upscale mall?
We went there purposely because we thought that it would be all white people, mainly white people and rich white people, who can easily turn away from what's happening to people of color, Black, brown, and Native people. And we wanted for them to see people like Jason and I, a young white guy and an older white woman who would fit right in, and they'd think, well,
may I help you?
do they care about that? And we do care about it. We think it's really important to call out that people are dying every day, that we have a system of pervasive, sick system of racism, and that we need to talk about it, and we need to go to places like
you put in the
Galleria.
Put in the whole responsibility on whites.
Yes.
And their silence.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I think that our role as white people, a big part of our role is to engage other white people and bring that conversation to other white folks. Because as a white person, you really have the option to engage or to not engage. And we really wanted to go to white Edina and make it as personable as possible and have people see, oh, that person looks like my mom, or that person looks like my brother, and say, we are people, we are like you, this is important to us, this is painful, this is important to all of us, this is tragic, and we all need to be discussing this and speaking up.
So do you think there is a silence in the white community?
Absolutely. I don't think white people want to talk about race.
This is a white state.
Very white state, yeah.
So the whole state is silence?
I think there's more and more white people waking up.
Nice.
And I think they want to find out more. You're seeing it. There's plenty of white people at the marches. But in general, I think there's a lot of white silence and avoidance because we're taught to be colorblind. We're taught that we're all the same, we all should get along. And if we talk about race, we're racist, and we're afraid we're going to put our foot in our mouth and do something wrong. And Minnesotans want to be nice, right? We all want to be nice.
But also political correctness, and
yes.
That's some of it too, right?
Yes, it is. It is. But when you hear the facts, one thing that's really been bothering me is that the police the police aren't prosecuted, right? I just read that the city of Minneapolis has a police review board, and 962 complaints by citizens were brought to the review board. Only one officer was disciplined. So all these people, I'm picturing them feeling so helpless, feeling like none of their concerns are heard, and nothing happens to the police who are doing things to them and hurting them.
So, Jason, you talk about engaging white folks in this issue, but that can only go so far. It's a structural problem. Talk about racism. You talk about police brutality. It's a cultural brutality. Showing up at the Galleria is not gonna really, cut it when it comes to this serious issue, structural issue, societal issue.
I think a lot more needs to be done than showing up at the Galleria, but I think that showing up at the Galleria and saying to folks at the Galleria who are shopping for Christmas, white silence costs lives, and that's, and we're all white people at this Galleria, and our silence is costing lives. I think that's valuable. I think it's...
Well, I'm not saying not value, but you say, is this an organization, that you can take this a step further and kind of, what are we going to do from here?
So one of the ways we're taking it a step further, this is called SURGE, Showing Up for Racial Justice. And SURGE has developed some working groups so that we will do it in many different areas. So there's working groups in communication, working groups in education, in leadership and action. So in all those different areas, we're going to do things with other white people and other allies who really want to stand up for Black, brown, Native lives. So those meetings are happening soon. So you can go to Surge Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook
That's
page.
what I'm getting into. Is,
You can go there and people can sign up and begin. I think it starts with what Jason was saying is we're waking people up so they start the journey. Maybe they'll start by reading a book. There's a great book for people who are, this is new to them. It's called Waking Up White by Debbie Irving. And it will give them...
Is this a new book?
Yeah, it's a new book. And there's a lot of historical pieces in there about race, racism, and whiteness that will wake people up, and then maybe they'll join those working groups and say, we want to join this because we're not okay with Minnesota having the largest disparities in the country.
So you're taking a very interesting approach. Most of people will go to the Capitol and sit on the steps there.
Yeah, we do that too.
Yep, been to the Capitol.
We do that too.
Really?
The hearings, we go to
So
go
you
to
guys,
hearings.
what do you do when you are done with demonstrating? Talk to me about you actually communication special of some sort. You do coaching and training for parents.
Yes, I teach classes on all sorts of topics from discipline to family systems to toilet training. But
we'll have a different show.
I thought that was funny. No. But right now I'm teaching a class called Talking to Kids About Race. Because especially white parents, this is for people of color and for white parents, but especially white parents are afraid to talk about race with their kids. And it's starting on February 1st, 5 weeks, and it's open to the community, and it's at First Universalist Church. So if anybody wants to sign up.
The one in South.
Yeah, it's on 34th and DuPont.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, by Uptown
Yeah.
kind of thing. And what I love about that class is there's so many people that are yearning for the words, for how to talk to their kids, because they know it didn't work for them. They know not having been able to talk about it in their family didn't help the world. It didn't help the racist system that we have. So by people getting the chance to talk to each other and reflect on what's important that they communicate to their kids, they're excited. It's a really great class. People I think really enjoy it.
Why after 60, 70 years of the civil rights movements and end of slavery and Jim Crow and all of that, we're still sitting here talking about the same thing? Martin Luther King's I think birthday was a few days ago, and we're still talking about anything changed in the last 50 years, Jason?
That's a good. That's a good
most
question.
Most of my audience are white.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, I think there is. People are tuning in and they want to see. And that's why we say a show is an accent for those without one.
Right.
White folks do not have an accent.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know why, but I think the reality is that it hasn't changed. I mean, mass incarceration of black folks and police brutality is rampant, and we've seen the deaths and the shootings over the past year and a half. It's not where it needs to be. by a long shot. And
We have a black president. Is not enough, Jason?
I think
We're taking the fifth or what?
I think that the problems of racism, and whiteness are not going to be solved
Yeah.
by electing one person. It's something that is going to require engagement by the entire country.
So it's a national crisis and it needs to be dealt with.
Definitely.
Denise, I was joking when we talk. I would say we have a black president, and he's not really a black president. I mean, he's just acting probably a black mascot for Wall Street. I mean,
You think so?
I think so. I think nice, I love Obama and everything, but once you are in a system, it's very hard to shake it, black or white. But what I'm talking about, what an average American can do to deal with this.
Yeah, I think it's a big problem. So the biggest thing we need to do is join together, because we can't do it alone. I love the church that I go to, First Universalist in Minneapolis, because I wouldn't have the courage to do what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for Jason and Bianca Zick and Lynn Rabinovich, who helped us organize this. It's because of our faith and belief in the power of love that we
Where
join.
is it coming from? I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
When somebody say faith and love, oh my God, here we go again.
Get a little worried about that,
Get
huh?
a little bit worried about
Yeah.
that. But I think it's a powerful thing, love and everything.
is.
Is this coming from something specific, or is just you talking in a
I
rhetoric?
think I think it's really specific to lots of faiths. I think believe in caring for our neighbors, right? And for our church, we think we have to go where love is calling us. Love calls us to treat everybody with respect and dignity, and to work together to unite to make a world better for everybody. So heal our world.
This is wonderful, but I see this been misused, abused by
Yes.
by other politicians,
Me
and all
too.
of that. And I mean, the last polls show that a lot of white Christian evangelicals supporting Trump,
Yes, you're right.
the guy that doesn't strike me as a religious person. So
My religion teaches that the things that divide us aren't ever going to help the world. What's going to heal the world is always things that unite us and that bring more love into the world. Things that says we are the same. We have the same need to love and care for each other, and we all deserve equity under the law. You're from Egypt. You have a different background than me. I grew up in Minnesota, so we have a lot of differences, and that's good. That's a good thing.
And that's why
I like
got
that
worried a
difference.
little bit when we say we are the same. I thought that's not your deal.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we are the same in that we both deserve respect and love.
Equity, the
We
equity
deserve
things.
equity, respect, and love. And so if we know that, and we can all get behind that, then I think we can work together for a better world.
It's amazing.
So I will not fight with anybody about religion, but I will say, can we agree on love?
Can we get along?
Yeah, can we agree on love? I think we can. I think most people can say, yeah, that will make the world better.
Love is good.
Yeah.
Make a love, not war. But Jason, a young man like you, shouldn't you be watching the Vikings and losing or whatever?
I think that's
How
part
did
of
you survive all of this?
I think it's part of the problem that there's, I think, kind of my demographic particularly is absent. So I think I don't know, it's going to take everybody and
What are the youth issues right now? What do they talk about?
what are the
Because when
youth
I
issues?
go, I don't see them. And they are missing from a lot of activities. But when there is a concert, there is a game, there is.
That's because it doesn't affect them, or it doesn't affect us, I should say. We have, like I was saying before, we have the option of turning away. We have the option of looking elsewhere. We get what we want, generally speaking.
So when you talk to your friends, neighbor, people in your age and colleagues, friends, do they look at you as an honesty or what?
Sometimes there's some silence. Sometimes there's some, who is this guy and what is he talking about? But a lot of times there's curiosity, and a lot of times there's, okay, this person's like me. I can feel safe to ask a question. What is this Black Lives Matter thing about? Why is that important? I think that a lot of folks aren't aware. They just don't know.
Isn't what Americans have been trained to? Since when the first day or the first experience here, the first two lessons I learned, so to survive this country, and strive, two things you don't talk about, right?
What were they?
Religion, and what's the other one?
Politics?
Politics.
Yeah. You're right.
The average American spends 15 minutes a week engaged in politics.
I believe that somehow.
15 minutes a week. Look how many hours we spend in sport and all of that. So you are against a lot of challenges that you have to re-educate all of that.
Yes, there are a lot of challenges. That's the only way I feel enough strength and purpose to do this is with a lot of other people who believe the same thing I do, that we can't stand for this. We can't stand for people dying.
So what are the biggest problem why white folks don't want to talk about race or engage in some of these issues? I know you talked about, if you talk about race, you're racist, but there must be other issues.
Yeah, I
white
think
privilege or whatever. I don't know what that is.
it's not, if it doesn't affect you personally, if you don't have friends that are black, brown, or native, you think, oh, there's not that much racism. So I think that's part of it. The people I know that don't talk about it, a lot of times it doesn't touch their lives. They have to go outside their realm to really have it touch their lives. And I think they're also afraid of having, not getting along with other white people if they start talking about something that's out of the realm of other white people. So they talk about the safe subjects and the easy subjects.
It's not a whiteness thing. So how did the folks at the Galleria treated you? Not the Mall of America.
They treated us really well.
Really?
Compared to the Mall of America, which
treated us pretty terrible because we were with a bunch of people of color. That's why we were treated terrible.
Tell us what you mean by very well.
We showed up at the mall, at the Galleria. There were 20 of us, and we
30.
20.
Actually.
30. There were 30.
That's just one family.
No, 30 of us.
That's a Somali family going shopping.
I know.
Right. We sang our song, "When the whole world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were beautiful and strong." We sang that song again and again.
That's inside the mall.
Inside the Galleria.
The Galleria.
And we walked up and down the Galleria, and we got some positive responses
from shoppers.
From shoppers. I mean, they're mostly white shoppers, but we got some positive responses. We got some kind of silent looks. We walked up and down, and we figured that they were going to kick us out within minutes, because that was our experience at the Mall of America. They jump on you
Security
right away.
We did one in July at the Mall of America, and they were on us in 5 minutes. We were out of there. It was very fast.
The security.
Yes, yes. But the Galleria, we walked up and down a couple times, and then we said, well, I guess that's it. Let's go to Southdale. So
because they never kicked us out.
They never kicked us out.
Maybe that says something about rich white folks.
It does.
Yes.
We're safe. We're other white people. We were safe. They didn't think.
But isn't it the white rich Democrats lives in Edina? Isn't that the deal?
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, there is a deal about
I do know
conservative rich Minnetonka.
I only saw 2 people of color there, and they both were like,
Really?
yeah.
They were sure.
Yeah, there was 2
Well,
people
I
of
mean,
color.
I think that struck a conversation after you left between
Yes,
whoever
that's
saw
what we're
you
hoping.
and God knows how far, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yes, yes.
I want to say one thing that's important to just know, and that is that with all the actions that we do, we are in conversation with the core group of Black Lives Matter, and it's very important to us to follow their leadership. So I just wanted to make that that
When
clear.
you say there is some kind of communication or coordination with them,
Right.
I still not sure about this. What Black Lives Matter is this a national movement now?
It is
organized?
very much a
Are
national
they
movement.
in concert with each other? They are
I
or
wouldn't
just
say they're coordinated in
coordinated?
concert necessarily, but there is a website that people can go to called campaignzero.org, and it has some of the policy solutions on there for the movement. So there is some coordination.
keeping
but
up with their.
I don't know more than that. You'd have to ask Black Lives Matter.
But it seems like everybody has a cause, and everybody is marching on their own drum. And the idea that you brought up here is, we need to work in concert.
And we really are starting to. I really
Yeah.
feel that with all the surge meetings that are going to be happening in the next 2 weeks. They'll be the first meetings of these different working groups that I mentioned. And we're doing that in coordination with Black Lives Matter and what their goals and their mission is, what their vision is. So, and working with other organizations. This is
Have
not
you
in
worked with
vacuum.
like any Arab, Muslim, whatever? Because also they've been, we are the new blacks.
I agree with you. We would like to do that.
Yeah.
And the woman that I just met on your previous show, I would like to connect with her
Yeah.
because I do think
Well,
what you're
there's
talking about
Islamic
is
Center.
important.
There's a lot of other organization that might be interested in that kind of activities, and because it's all the same, comes from the same
Oppression and-
the same all that racism,
Yes, you're right.
white privilege, and all of that. So there is same language there.
You're right.
So where do we go from here? What's the next? What's your next jihad here? Where are you heading?
That's a good question.
My
What's the next
biggest
project?
my biggest excitement and project right now is to get people to join Surge Minnesota, go on the Facebook page, and sign up for one of the working
flashing on a
groups.
screen now. I
So we
hope.
can all work together on this issue, because we had 182 white people, mainly white, other people too, that came to a meeting last week
Really?
that want to work on racial justice and
And
stop
that was the
this police
title of the meeting, racial justice?
showing up for racial justice.
Ah,
Right.
that's
so
very
that is exciting.
promising.
Yeah. So that's our next step, is to really start those working groups and see.
And so when you have meetings like that, what do? You talk about issue, or you decide an agenda, or there is a...
I just like probably other meetings, is people will set an agenda and say, what do we want to accomplish? The action group will say, what action do we want to do next? And the education group might develop materials for how to educate other white people on what they need to know.
Well, this is wonderful, and it's very timely these days. And I think what was going on in the election and the Republican Party, it's a scary stuff.
Yes, it is
And
scary.
we need people like you. We need the white folks to tell Obama, or not Obama, but tell Donald Trump.
The whole system, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because for me, Donald Trump is the epitome of white privilege, cartoonish TV, cartoonish, which we can deal with. But you talk about millions of people are following this guy.
Yes.
That's a scary stuff.
Yes.
So keep up the good work.
Thank
and
you.
Wish
Thank
you
you.
all the luck.
Thank you very
Jason.
much.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Glad
Nice to meet
that
you.
made it down here, and this is the weekend, and I know how valuable that is. But we have here Denise and Jason, that they are one. They're talking about white silence, the cost lives, and they were at the gallery in Southdale. That was Christmas time, wasn't it?
Yes.
You guys, the Grouch, whatever you are the
Grinch?
Grinch.
Yes, we are the
The
Grinch.
Grinch. Let people have fun. at
But it
Christmas.
was a beautiful song,
This is
and
a
it was
good
really felt good. It felt
He's a
good to do.
Grinch. So thank you so much for coming, and keep
You
up
are
the
so
good work.
welcome.
We'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.